Hey witches. So I thought since I just saw a shit ton of bonfires yesterday, it gave me the idea because this is Beltane weekend. Today is May 1st. Happy Beltane, everybody. But it gave me the idea to do a video on my favorite element, fire. So I'm just going to talk about fire for about the next 30 minutes. So if you're a pyro witch as well, stick around. So the first thing that I like to use fire for is not to banish. A lot of people will use fire to banish. I do too, but it's not what I usually use it for. Fire is transformative. Fire creates. It can destroy, but it can also create. So when you're doing a spell that involves fire, you're transforming your destiny through the power of fire, through the element of fire. So, of course, you know how to do that with candles. I'll link my candle magic video below. I won't spend forever talking about how to do a basic intention candle. But another thing you can do to manifest with fire is to write a petition out. Use a larger piece of paper. Don't just tear it into a little rectangle or a little square. Use the full sheet of paper because you want it to burn longer. And I'm going to tell you why in a sec. So you're going to write your petition on whatever kind of paper. Most spell books say parchment. It doesn't matter. Just get a piece of printer paper. If you don't have that, use notebook paper, a brown paper bag, whatever. Put your petition on there. It's up to you if you want to sign your name in blood or put a bloody fingerprint on there or even saliva. I would at least use saliva because it ties your DNA to that petition. What stronger connection, could there be? So use one or the other to connect that to you, but also put your name and birthday. I like to sign my petitions 9 times because 9 is the number of manifestation. It's also the number to banish. So when you are writing your petition, be very clear that you are asking for something and not trying to banish it away. Just be clear and the whole time have, the correct intention in your head because that is most of your spell anyway. So what you're going to do is do the petition and then say anything you want to say. If you want to cast a circle, you can. One thing that you can do that's optional, and you've heard me say this before, is just on your altar or working space, just do a salt circle around the paper. You could do that. You could put a salt circle around your entire, working area if you're not going to do a formal circle, because you don't always have to do that. If you want, you can just visualize a circle, which is what I usually do, unless it's ritualistic. If it's a ritual that is something that I know I have to have a circle for, I'm going to have a circle for it. I'm also usually I'll cast a circle before I do a legit invocation of a deity, just because I feel like it's the most respectful way, That's just me. But anyway, so back to the petition. Sorry about that. I don't have notes. I'm actually sitting in the drive-through getting my daughter's order remade because I forgot that she hates cheese and it had cheese on it. So I'm sitting in this long ass line. So I thought I'd make a video. So anyway, the petition, once you've got it ready, fold it 3 times toward you while focusing on what you want to manifest and visualizing on what your life will look like after the transformation occurs. And then you're going to get your fire safe bowl or your cauldron, whatever, you have, and I would recommend to do this outside because burning a full-size paper stinks so bad. So I'll leave that part up to you, but I like to do this outside. Doesn't matter, the moon, if it's full or not. You would like it to be waxing if you're manifesting. And I have heard that the first quarter is a really good time to do a manifestation working if it is in regards to prosperity, abundance working, or money workings, anything like that. But as if it's waxing, it's waxing. Okay. If you did this on the full moon, of course, the full moon is optimal for anything, whether it be a curse, money spell, self love spell, whatever. So, anyway, what you can do with a petition after you've done everything else, you've said your say, you've done your focus, you're ready to go. Light it on fire, and I usually like to have an intention candle for the same intention there, and then I'll use that flame to burn the petition. But you don't have to. You can use a match or a lighter, whatever. Just get the fire on the paper. So once the fire begins to consume the paper, what you're going to do is you are going to stare at it, and I would recommend to hold the paper with some pliers or some charcoal disc tongs, just something so you don't burn yourself, because you want to get it completely burnt. You don't want to leave a little bitty piece at the end. You want to burn the entire thing. So as the fire consumes your petition, you're going to watch the paper transform to ash. And while the paper is transforming to ash, you're going to visualize. Strong visualization is key in manifesting, in anything witchy, but especially manifestation. You're going to imagine, visualize, and put out there how your life will look. Feel it. How do you feel? What do you see? What do you smell? Who's around you? What does it look like now that this change has occurred? View it as it's already happened. So when you're doing that and your petition is burning, continue that visualization, focusing on that transformation while the paper is being transformed to ash. And if you do that and you focus strong enough, you visualize strong enough, you're going to have great success with that, because visualization is key, and sitting in that feeling of it's already happened to me is also key. So do that, and that will be wonderful for petitions. One thing you can also do is throw a petition in a bonfire and then just, do the same thing, because it's being converted to ash, even if you can't see it completely. It's fun to throw shit into bonfires, and we'll talk a little bit more about those in just a sec. But when you're doing those petitions, instead of burying it, try burning it. Give it a try. It can't hurt. So, bonfires. Now, next month, I have to throw this in there as a Hecate devotee, or I would not be doing her justice. So, what you're going to do is you are going to, on May 16th, we have the flower moon, which it's at 12:05 a.m. So it's right after midnight. So it is perfect for us witches. Perfect, because the peak is at midnight. It's just perfect. I'm so excited. But during the May full moon, I'm pretty sure it's just called Hecate's Right. And what you do during the flower moon is you go out and you light a bonfire. It doesn't have to be huge, but assemble the bonfire and then light the bonfire and then formally offer it to her. I would suggest to do it out loud, but if you're in the broom closet and you got other people with you that just think you're just wanting to do a bonfire, you can do it silently, because you have a connection with that deity and they're in our heads. Whether you want them to be or not, they are. So She knows what you're thinking. They all do. So, do that for her. Do that for her. And while you're doing that bonfire, if you wanted to throw something in there, you could, but I wouldn't, throw like a manifestation or, something like that. But you could work with Hecate during this bonfire to banish. It's just kind of questionable because is it an offering or are you doing a spell? You might not want to do those together. Maybe after the fire is over, you could ask Hecate to help you banish something because she is wonderful to do that with. But I don't know what date May 16th falls on. I'm not sure. But if it's a Saturday, then right after the bonfire, you might ask her, evoke her, and then have her work with you on banishing something. And that works best on Saturday nights because that is Hecate's night. But anyway, enough about her and enough about bonfires. Other ways you can banish using fire. So, you want to banish someone or something from your life, you can do a petition, but your focus is not on manifesting, it's on banishing. So just be careful that when you are doing that you specify that in the petition and in your actions while it's burning. Okay, you're not visualizing things changing by something coming to you, you're visualizing the changes that will occur when that person or that whatever it is out of your life. So just remember that, those things. Which you're a witch, you know the difference. But you can also use fire to banish. You can throw photographs, of people into fire and do the same thing. You can take somebody's shirt if you have an ex and they left their stupid shirt at your house and you just want to get rid of their last little shred that is around you. Just, burn it, burn it, and say aloud, I banish whatever from my life. You are never to return. Just say something like that and do that. And I would say it 9 times because 9 is number for banishing, which is odd because it's also the number for manifestation, which we have others, but it's kind of an odd coincidence to me. But anyway, so what you can do next is you can create a fire ritual. And this is so cool. I have done it twice in all these years, and this is making me want to do it again. But you can do it either indoors or outdoors. It doesn't matter. The moon phase doesn't matter. Nothing matters with this ritual. And you're going to make it up. Where did a lot of spells come from? They're made up. Some rituals, they're made up. So you do not have to always do something. You never really have to do something exactly like it's written in a spell book. Now, if you're, referring to, like I said in my Witchcraft 101 video, casting a circle, doing, certain things like the grand rite, doing certain things, maybe even like a self-dedication ritual, these things are done a certain way. These ritualistic things don't change. Okay, they're done the same way, and they have been, way back to Gerald Gardner, possibly even before. So I'm sure before because he had to have gotten it from somewhere. So anyway, these rituals, you want to keep these things the same, but when you're making your own ritual, which you can for any purpose, it's fine. Write it down in your BOS. I'm going to give you a list of correspondences that all fall under the element of fire, and you can choose from those and create an incense. So you would take those herbs. I would take maybe 3. 3 is always a wonderful number in witchcraft. Take 3 of those together. If you just want to use more, go for it. Like I said, no rules. Just make sure that your intent behind the ritual is to honor fire. That's the only thing you need to make sure that you do. That has to be. But make your incense, crush it down in your mortar and pestle. I've shown you guys before how to do incense. If you don't want to crush them, don't crush them. You've seen me do incense where I just do a spice grinder just to break it up a little bit. Whatever, doesn't matter. And then get your incense going to set the tone, get you in that magical headspace. Pick a candle. You can use red, yellow, orange, gold, rose gold. You can even use pink because there is some of that fiery energy in pink candles because pink is made from red and white. So if you want to use pink, go for it. Whatever you want to use, it's fine. And then I would maybe carve, definitely carve the elemental symbol for fire on the candle, and maybe a little heart if you wanted, a sun symbol, a rune that you like, anything. It's up to you, okay? Whatever you want to put on the candle, go ahead. And then what I would do is I would roll the candle in some, probably either honey or olive oil, and then just sprinkle it with some cinnamon, just because cinnamon is so fiery, and then have that as my little candle. And you're not setting a true intention that you want to happen. You're just honoring fire. So, you got your candle going, light your candle. Then what I would do is I would pull some crystals that I had already, smoked out and given them the intent of honoring fire. Just take a couple, even just one would be fine. But pull one of those crystals out, set that one on your altar, and then you've got your things to, begin your ritual. And if you wanted to add anything else in, you could. It does not have to be my way. That's why I'm not naming herbs. The only thing I named was cinnamon and some candle colors. I want you to be creative. This is your little challenge. Come up with a fire ritual. So anyway, once you've got everything going, what I would do is I would have already done this, but I would have a poem written to the element of fire. And I would just write down how it makes me feel, maybe some gratitude in there to thank fire for everything it's ever given me, and then before I read the poem, and you might even do this at the beginning of your ritual, it's up to you, but I would evoke, not invoke. You could, but for this it's not necessary, but I would evoke the element of fire. Make sure I did that. And then once I've done that, I'm going to read my poem with all of my heart and all of my soul. I'm going to read that poem, and then I'm going to verbally out loud, thank the element of fire for everything it's ever bestowed upon me. Thank you, fire, for whatever. And then at the end, release. Don't ever forget to release anything that you've evoked or invoked. Release. So then after I did the, formal releasing of the element of fire, what I would do to take it one step further is I would burn my poem. I'd put it in the flame, then sit it in the cauldron because the incense are probably going to be just about gone by now, and just throw it on top of everything and burn it. And then I would take whatever's left in my cauldron and I would just sprinkle that around one of my oak trees in my backyard. Make sure it's all gone out. Don't put lit shit near a tree, please. But you know better than that, hopefully. So anyway, that would be an example of how I would, do a fire ritual. But to each his own or her own. Do what resonates with you. And you can do this with any element. We're just talking about fire right now. So we talked about manifesting with fire. We talked about banishing with fire. We talked about using fire to just to honor fire through ritual. And now I'm going to give you an idea for another way to honor fire. You can use a bath. You know, I have to give you a bath. So what I would do for my bath is I would go to my list, and I'm going to give you this list of all your correspondences that go along with fire. They all fall under the element of fire. At least one. Some might, some are under two, but anyway, I'm going to give you a list. Pick some crystals from the list, put those in the water with you, put some salt in the water with you. If you wanted to make a tea with any of the correspondences and put that in the water with you, go for it. I would have on each corner of my tub, I would have a yellow candle, a red candle, a gold candle, and then like I said earlier, you could use rose gold or pink. I just like, there's 4 little spots on my tub, so whenever I do any kind of, ritual bath, I always have 4 candles. No matter what it's for, I always have 4. Just because I like them being around, I love to be surrounded by fire. So do that. You could even light a cinnamon incense or any other incense that you want that falls under fire. You could do that. And then just bathe. And as you're bathing, evoke the element of fire and speak to the element of fire. Stare at one of your candles and say whatever you want to say, and then say, I thank and release you, and then move on. Very simple. So, other things you can do with fire. You can transform with fire. You can transform your situation. So, say you just lost someone, or you just lost your job, or your car just quit working, or something happened where you don't have enough money in your account at all to fix it, and you don't just want to do a little money spell because it's your heart's broken in the process of all this, and you want to transform yourself back to how you were and manifest whatever changes you need to fix your shit and get back where you need to be. So what you can do is very similar to what I talked about in the beginning. Do a petition, write your situation as you want it to be. Don't write down, I lost my job and I'm so terrible, but I would like this to happen. Don't do that. Write, I have a brand new job at wherever and I make this much, and just be as detailed as you want. Or I have this new car and blah, 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 blah. Just, write whatever you want to happen. Whatever you want to transform into. Think about it like a butterfly. You want to become that butterfly. So how do you become that butterfly? What things would give you those wings, so to speak? So write those things down. And then I would evoke the element of fire and then burn it. And as it burns, like I said in the beginning, when you're manifesting, focus on the transformation of where you are right now to where you want to be. And then do the same thing. Visualize what your life will look like once you grow those metaphorical wings. So you can do that. Let's see. One of my favorite things to do with fire is to leave it just a candle as an offering. And you can choose whether or not you want to, anoint the candle with oil or your blood, or just, clean the candle and then just offer it. It's up to you. But I always use my blood because the deities that I work with, I've been working with for a very long time, and so I'm comfortable doing that. But if it's your first time working with a deity and you're leaving them an offering, don't go pricking yourself right then. Wait a while. Wait at least 3 months of, that you've been working with them, and then start fucking around with the blood. Okay? Just wait a little bit. because that deity might not be for you, and you don't want to offer them your life force and then all of a sudden stop working with them, in a week. It's just, it's pointless. So after you work with them for a while, do that. So how else can you take advantage of the element of fire, praise the element of fire, utilize the element of fire in your magic? How else can you do this? One way is through crystals. One of my favorite things to do, and I'm going to go off the topic of fire for just a sec. When you have any of your chakras out of alignment, do a chakra alignment, and then if you still feel that one is off, then you can focus on that chakra. Sometimes you can just tell that one's off. You don't even need to explore, but you may need to explore first. You can also go to a professional, but you don't have to. But anyway, say you're having libido issues or fertility issues or anything else connected to your sacral chakra. What you can do is take a fiery stone, because our sacral chakra and our root chakra, they both utilize those, orangish and reddish color stones. So what I have found works best for my sacral chakra is carnelian. And my carnelian that I use for this is actually a carnelian palm stone in the shape of a heart. And I think I've shown you this in a haul like a year ago or so. But anyway, I will hold on to that in my left hand into my receiving hand so I can receive the energy from the crystal. This crystal is already programmed for what I'm using it for. I always use it for the same thing. And I'll hold on to that and then meditate on that chakra and what I want to fix. And it's fixed. You can also do the same thing with your root chakra. And with me watching these manifestation gurus, I have heard them, 3 of them now. Not the same 2 that I heard before that I talked about in my manifesting video. These are 3 different guys. But every one of them said that the top 3%, like the richest of the rich, have a secret. I don't know if there's any truth to this, but it makes sense. But what these people do is they supercharge their root chakras. So one way you can supercharge your root chakra is holding on to a piece of garnet. The reason I'm choosing garnet for this is because garnet is heavily tied to money. Okay? Red garnet would be best to use for this. There are other colors of garnet, but you want to get the garnet colored garnet. And hold on to it and do this meditation. So while you're doing the meditation, focus on dumping out all of the stuff. I was going to say crap, but it's too close to our buttholes. My favorite comedian, whose name is Josh Wolf. If you're ever depressed, just go to YouTube and type in Josh Wolf, and you won't be depressed after 5 minutes, I promise. But anyway, Josh Wolf had this video where they were putting leeches on the lower part of his body, which leech therapy is great. If you've never tried it and you have it available near you, give it a try. But during the leech therapy, they put one of the leeches near his butthole, like right above it. And he says, from now on, I'm going to refer to my butthole as the root chakra. So now every time I think about the root chakra, his face pops into my head, and I can't help but think about him. So anyway, a little side note there. But supercharging that root chakra can help you become a money magnet, supposedly. So give that a shot. Put on one of these guided root chakra superpower meditations. There are tons of them. So there must be some truth to this, because there are tons of these videos. And hold on to your garnet in your left hand, your receiving hand. Or if you wanted to, you could lie down and meditate. I don't know how easy it would be to get it where it needs to be during this, but you surely could figure it out. You could even maybe sit on top of the garnet if you want, however you want to do it, but then do that meditation and see if you can supercharge that chakra. And the reason I chose these two chakras is because of the colors that relate, and they're fiery colors. So anyway, what you can do, I think I've got just about every, I think I've pretty much came and given you guys everything in my little witchy head about how to use just your time and your tools to honor and to utilize the element of fire. But, oh, one more thing. You can also work with salamanders, dragons, and any other animals, creatures, deities, anything that are associated with the element of fire. Working with them would also help with that. And I think that that's all I have, witches. If I come up with anything else, I will type it up in the description. And there will also be a link for all of your correspondences. But that's all I have, and blessed be.